A skilled blacksmith was known throughout the land for his ability to create finest swords and armor. One day the devil came to the blacksmith's forge and offered to make a deal. The devil promised the blacksmith all the wealth and success he could ever dream of in exchange for his soul. The blacksmith was hesitant, but ultimately agreed to the devil's terms, and the two began to work together. The devil would bring the blacksmith the finest metals and materials, and the blacksmith would create the most magnificent pieces of armor and weaponry. The blacksmith business began to thrive, and he became a wealthy man. However, as the time went on, the blacksmith began to regret his decision. He realized that his soul was more valuable than any amount of wealth and success. So he made a plan to outsmart the devil. One day, when the devil came to collect the blacksmith's soul, the blacksmith challenged him for the game of wits. The blacksmith proposed that they compete in a game of riddles, with the winner taking all. The devil, confident in his intelligence, accepted the challenge. However, the blacksmith had a secret weapon. He had studied and prepared for this moment for years. He was able to outsmart the devil at every turn and won the game. As the winner, the blacksmith demanded that the devil release him from the agreement and allow him to keep his soul. The devil, true to his word, released the blacksmith from the deal, and the blacksmith was able to live the rest of his life with his soul intact. This encounter with the devil is so-called Faustian tale. There's a more complex Faust tale that was incorporated in German folklore, but if you read these various versions that you can find in every European country, they are quite more simple. Usually a peasant makes a deal with the devil at first, but when it's time to make the exchange, he just uses some brute force and kicks the devil out there. They are really quite laughable and simple. I think the most similar tale in its you have maybe heard in the Brother Grimm's tale. Do you remember the tale about the witch and the three treasures, and the hero just suddenly killing the witch instead of giving it a simple item in exchange for this gift? Of course, the European people have heard the temptations of the devil being the outcast from the God's kingdom, the devil trying to place bets against man's soul in the story of Job. I find it very funny that the peasants and the artisans and even the nobles have found from this concept of tempting devil that you can always somehow outsmart him. I guess in theory, devil is not all powerful as God, but there is still something very rudimentary wrong with these tales. Just like Jesus said, you must go through the eye of the needle if you want to go to heaven as a rich man. We always think that we can make the deals and we can still win at both sides. I think this is a very normal human concept that somehow we always end up as the winner, that we can pull it through. And we can use our traits, whether it is our intelligence or our physical strength, to overcome these obstacles. We play these scenarios every day in our life. The Faustian man, the Western spirit of the Faust, whatever. I think these simplified tales of encounters with the devil and how you can still pull it through somehow showcase that it is just a overly positive attitude, that they can take on anything that comes for them in life. For Peasant, he does not look for unlimited knowledge, but a treasure chest. Like I said, if you read these tales, the peasants are always tricking the devil for some money. Sometimes they trick the devil just to piss the devil off. I don't think these Faustian tales have any connection to the Western spirit of exploration, of individuality, and so forth. I think those are very separate concepts, and that's why it irritates me very much to hear this term Faustian to describe these somewhat positive attributes of exploration to the Western man. These are just bolstering of one's male ego. Let me tell you, if you meet the devil, you are not gonna make deals with him. You're just gonna be scared to straight. Just like when you're gonna face war, home intruders, plague, and so forth. You will be scared, although you might show a brave face to your fellow men.